These words aren't just inspiring, they're instructions. If you believe in your potential and take action every single day, you can completely change your life. But belief alone isn't enough. You must do the work, day in and day out, no matter how you feel. For the next few minutes, I'm going to share 10 important things you need to work on every single day if you want to transform yourself in just 90 days. These habits are simple but powerful, and if you stay consistent, they'll help you build discipline, destroy distractions, and become the best version of yourself. Let's dive in. Habit 1, decide to change every morning. Every single day, the most powerful thing you possess is the ability to make a choice. The moment you open your eyes in the morning, the world presents itself to you like a blank canvas, waiting for your decision to shape it. But before you pick up the brush of action, there's one step that must come first. Decide. This decision is often overlooked because it's so simple, yet it is the very foundation of all success and transformation. It's where everything begins. The simple act of deciding is one of the most underrated and powerful things you can do for yourself. Most people spend their lives waiting for motivation or waiting for the right time to act. But here's the reality: the right time never comes. Motivation doesn't arrive like a burst of energy every single morning, and neither does perfect timing. The key to becoming who you're meant to be is the decision that you'll act, whether or not you feel motivated. We are all creatures of habit, and most people find themselves repeating the same actions and thoughts every day. If you're not actively deciding to change, then you're passively allowing yourself to stay the same. Decide to act, even when it's hard, and that's when true transformation starts. When you commit to yourself, you begin the place of stagnation beyond the person you were yesterday. Every morning when you wake up, before your mind starts listing all the things you have to do, before you let the weight of your old habits and doubts take control, you need to decide. This decision isn't just about saying you want to change, it's about taking ownership of your life and your actions. The decision to change isn't something you make once and forget. It's something you make every single day. And that's the magic. You don't need motivation to change. You need a commitment to make that decision every day. Think about the times in your life when you've made a decision and stuck with it, whether it was deciding to start a project, get healthier, or move towards a bigger dream. There's something incredibly powerful about making a firm choice and following through. Napoleon Hill, in his timeless work Think and Grow Rich, tells us that a definite decision backed by burning desire is the starting point of all achievement. This isn't just about making a decision when everything is going perfectly. It's about making that decision even when the conditions aren't ideal. It's about choosing to act even when your emotions are telling you to stay in bed or hit snooze on your dreams. You have to realize that the power to transform your life begins with your daily decisions. Every time you choose to act, you're moving closer to who you want to be. Every time you commit to a decision, you're breaking free from the chains of your old self and making room for the person you aspire to become. The shift happens in those seemingly small moments of choice, and those choices compound day after day, creating real change. Here's something important to remember. The decision is not a one-time thing. It's not just the decision to get started, it's the daily commitment to keep showing up. That's why it's so important to start your morning with that decision. The morning is when you set the tone for the rest of your day. If you start the day by deciding that you will not be held back, that you will take intentional steps toward your goals, it sets the stage for every other decision that follows. It's the first brick in the foundation of your transformation. Let's talk about what this really looks like in practice. Deciding every morning means that despite how you feel, despite your fears, doubts, or tiredness, you choose to take action anyway. If you decide to work out in the morning, you do it, even if you're tired. If you decide to read for 30 minutes every day, you follow through, no matter what distractions or excuses come up. The key to making these decisions stick is not allowing yourself to be led by your emotions or moods. As Tony Robbins famously says, the only thing that's keeping you from getting what you want is the story you keep telling yourself. The decision is about rejecting the story that says you can't, the story that says I'll do it tomorrow or I don't have time. You make the decision and the rest follows. The more you practice this, the easier it becomes. It becomes a habit. And soon, it's not even a conscious decision anymore. It's just part of who you are. It's the person you've decided to become, the disciplined, committed version of yourself that shows up every day to do the work, regardless of external circumstances or your internal resistance. Every morning, when you look in the mirror, ask yourself, am I committed to the person I am becoming? This question is powerful because it forces you to confront your current self and your future self. If you want to become someone who is disciplined, who succeeds, who breaks through limitations, you must first decide to be that person today. Don't wait for the right moment. There isn't one. The right moment is always now. Make that decision when you wake up in the morning and don't wait for the world to tell you it's time. You decide and you act. And every action you take from that decision will take you one step closer to the life you desire. So as you begin every day, remember this. The most important habit you can develop is the habit of deciding to change every single day. It's not about waiting to feel motivated. It's about making a choice, even when you don't feel like it. And when you do that, you will begin to see the transformation you've always wanted. The first step is simple. Decide. Habit 2, focus on discipline, not motivation. We've all been there, that initial burst of excitement that propels us into a new project, whether it's starting a fitness routine, learning a new skill, or launching a business. At first, motivation is high. You feel invincible, ready to take on the world. But then, as time passes, the novelty starts to fade. The motivation that once fueled you starts to wane, and you find yourself slipping back into old habits, wondering where that initial energy went. The problem with motivation is that it's temporary. Motivation is like a spark. It's quick, it's powerful, but it doesn't last long. And when that spark burns out, you're left with a decision. Either give up or find something more reliable to keep going. That's where discipline comes in. Discipline is not dependent on how you feel. It's not swayed by whether you're in the mood to work or whether you're experiencing a tough day. Discipline is about doing what you said you would do, even when motivation is nowhere to be found. Discipline is what carries you through those moments when you'd rather quit. It's the power to show up day after day, regardless of how you feel. Think about a time when you successfully achieved something important in your life. Was it because you were always motivated? Or was it because you stuck to the plan, regardless of the obstacles? Motivation is a fleeting emotion, while discipline is a long-term commitment. It's a decision to take action consistently, even when you don't feel like it. The truth is, discipline creates momentum. When you commit to showing up every day, even when you don't feel like it, you start building a habit. Over time, these small actions add up and momentum takes over. What started as a forced action becomes second nature. The more you practice discipline, the easier it becomes. Eventually, the things you once had to force yourself to do become automatic. Discipline transforms into a routine that feels effortless. To build lasting success, you need to shift your focus away from motivation and toward building a disciplined mindset. Motivation will come and go, but discipline is what keeps you going even when life gets hard. It's about making a commitment to yourself and honoring that commitment no matter what. There will always be days when you don't feel like getting out of bed, working out, or doing the tasks that push you forward. On those days, your discipline is your superpower. It's not about forcing yourself to feel excited. It's about honoring your promise to yourself day after day. Think about a professional athlete. They don't rely on motivation to show up for practice every day. They rely on discipline. They follow a strict routine even when they're tired, injured, or just don't feel like it. The same goes for anyone who has mastered a skill or achieved something remarkable. It's never just about the motivation. It's about the discipline to continue putting in the work no matter what. Discipline is a form of self-respect. When you commit to your goals and take consistent action, you are demonstrating to yourself that you are worthy of success. You're showing yourself that you believe in your potential and are willing to put in the effort to see it through. When you don't rely on motivation, you take control of your actions. You stop waiting for the perfect moment to feel inspired and instead create your own momentum through consistent effort. One of the most powerful things about discipline is that it builds resilience. The more you push through discomfort, the more you grow. Discipline is like a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it gets. When you face challenges and keep moving forward, you build resilience, which makes future challenges easier to handle. To create lasting change, you need to develop discipline in every area of your life. Whether it's making time for exercise, sticking to a work schedule, or following through on a personal project, discipline will be your constant companion. And over time, this consistency will create a life that is not only productive, but also aligned with your deepest values. Remember, success is built on the foundation of discipline, not motivation. Motivation might get you started, but it's discipline that will carry you through. The key is to make discipline a habit, a non-negotiable part of your daily routine. Once you do that, nothing can stand in your way. So next time you're tempted to wait for motivation to strike, remember this. Discipline is what gets you to the finish line. It's not always glamorous, and it's not always easy, but it works. And over time, it will lead you to the results you've been working for. Habit 3, embrace the pain of growth. Growth is never easy. If it were, everyone would be constantly leveling up and becoming their best selves. But growth requires change, and change requires discomfort. Whether you're working on your fitness, improving your career, or trying to develop a new skill, you will encounter moments of discomfort along the way. And here's the thing. Those moments of pain aren't a sign that you're doing something wrong. In fact, they're proof that you're on the right path. It's easy to wish for growth without the struggle. We often look at successful people, admire their accomplishments, and wish we could experience the same results without the discomfort that comes with it. But here's the hard truth. Growth comes at a cost. That cost is discomfort. It's the mental, emotional, and sometimes even physical pain that we must endure to become better versions of ourselves. Discomfort is not your enemy, it's your ally. Think about any major transformation in your life, whether it's the first time you learned to ride a bike, the first time you gave a public speech, or even starting a new job. Those moments were uncomfortable, you stumbled, you hesitated, and maybe you even felt like giving up. But that's exactly when growth happens. It's in those moments of discomfort that you're stretching yourself beyond your current limits and expanding your potential. The key is to change how you view discomfort. Rather than seeing it as a sign of failure or weakness, see it as a green light, telling you that you're moving in the right direction. As the famous author Stephen Pressfield wrote in his book, The War of Art, resistance will tell you anything to keep you from doing your work. It will perjure, fabricate, falsify, seduce, bully, cajole. Resistance is protean. It will assume any form, be it pain, guilt, anxiety, or fear. So when discomfort arises, recognize that it's just another form of resistance trying to hold you back. Push through it, and you'll find that the other side is where the real growth begins. Transformation isn't just about doing more or trying harder. It's about doing things differently. It's about shifting your mindset and getting comfortable with the idea that growth requires effort, and that effort will often feel uncomfortable, whether it's the soreness after a tough workout, the mental exhaustion after focusing deeply on a task, or the emotional discomfort of pushing through your fears. You must learn to embrace the pain. If you want to grow physically, you'll feel the burn in your muscles as they stretch and adapt. If you want to grow mentally, you'll experience frustration as you encounter challenges that force you to stretch your intellect and problem-solving abilities. If you want to grow emotionally, you'll face fears, doubts, and insecurities that test your courage. This discomfort isn't a roadblock, it's the path forward. In fact, the most successful people are those who have learned to be comfortable with discomfort. They have trained themselves to embrace the pain of growth because they understand that the rewards on the other side are far greater than the temporary discomfort they face. This is the same mindset that elite athletes, successful entrepreneurs, and great leaders share. They don't shy away from discomfort. They welcome it as a part of the journey. In the 5 a.m. Club, Robin Sharma says, "The pain you feel today will be the strength you feel tomorrow." This quote perfectly encapsulates the idea that growth doesn't happen in a straight line. It happens through ups and downs, moments of struggle and moments of triumph. Every time you push through discomfort, you're building strength that will help you face future challenges with even greater resilience. Growth requires you to make a choice, to avoid the pain or to embrace it and let it transform you. Each time you choose to face discomfort head on, you grow. It's in the moments when you think you can't go any further that you discover just how strong you truly are. The more you embrace discomfort, the more you will realize that the things that once felt impossible are actually achievable. You begin to see discomfort as a sign that you're on the edge of transformation. The bottom line is this: growth and comfort cannot coexist. If you want to become someone different, someone better, you will need to step into the unknown and endure some pain along the way. And when you do, remember, that's where the magic happens. So next time you feel resistance or discomfort, don't run from it. Embrace it, knowing that it's leading you to a new level of growth. The pain you feel today is the strength you will have tomorrow. Habit 4, discipline over motivation. Motivation can be an incredible force. It gives us that initial spark to take action, to start something new, to move toward a goal. But as many of us have experienced, motivation is fleeting. It comes in bursts and quickly fades away, often leaving us feeling stuck or demotivated when we need it the most. That's where discipline comes in. Unlike motivation, discipline doesn't depend on how you feel. It's the ability to continue moving forward even when motivation isn't there. It's about doing what needs to be done, whether or not you're in the mood for it. This is the true difference between those who reach their goals and those who give up along the way. Successful people don't rely on motivation to keep them on track. They rely on discipline. Discipline is the foundation of long-term success. Think about it. If you only worked out when you felt motivated, how often would you exercise? If you only worked on your goals when you felt inspired, would you get anything done? The truth is, consistency is key to achieving anything meaningful in life. And consistency doesn't come from motivation, it comes from discipline. Discipline is the ability to keep pushing forward, no matter the challenges you face or how you're feeling that day. It's about creating habits that reinforce your goals day in and day out until those habits become second nature. The more disciplined you become, the less you rely on fluctuating emotions to get things done. You simply do the work. The key to building discipline is to make small, consistent actions part of your daily routine. Whether it's waking up early, reading for 30 minutes every morning, or sticking to your workout plan, these small actions build the foundation for bigger achievements. The more you practice discipline, the easier it becomes to stick to your goals, even when your motivation is nowhere to be found. In the book Atomic Habits, James Clear writes, "You do not rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your systems." This perfectly captures the idea that motivation alone is not enough. It's your systems, your daily habits and routines that determine whether or not you succeed. And those systems require discipline to keep them going. The best way to cultivate discipline is to embrace the idea that it's about doing, not feeling. In moments when motivation is lacking, you need to remind yourself that taking action, even in small ways, is what builds momentum. Small, consistent actions add up over time. Even if it's just 10 minutes of work, 10 minutes of reading, or a short walk, doing something consistently will lead to more results than waiting for motivation to strike. Another way to reinforce discipline is by removing distractions. When you set clear intentions for what you want to achieve, you can eliminate the temptation to procrastinate. When there's nothing pulling your attention away, it becomes much easier to stay disciplined. Make it easier to stay disciplined by creating an environment that supports your goals. One of the reasons people fall short of their goals is that they expect motivation to carry them through. They think they should feel excited every day, and when they don't, they give up. But here's the truth. Motivation is unreliable. It's like a wave that comes and goes. Discipline, on the other hand, is steady. It's a calm, reliable force that keeps you going through the ups and downs. If you want to achieve anything worthwhile, you'll need to outgrow your reliance on motivation and focus on building the habits of discipline. This means showing up even when you don't feel like it, staying focused even when distractions are everywhere, and continuing to do the work even when it feels tough or boring. Discipline will make you unstoppable because it's something you can control. You don't have to wait for motivation to kick in. You simply make a decision and follow through. Remember, discipline doesn't ask how you feel. It doesn't care if you're tired, uninspired, or frustrated. It just asks that you show up and do the work anyway. And over time, that daily practice of discipline will create results that motivation alone can never deliver. As the philosopher Aristotle said, "We are what we repeatedly do." Excellence, then, is not an act, but a habit. Discipline is what turns actions into habits, and habits are what turn dreams into reality. Habit 5, embrace the pain of growth. Growth is often romanticized as an easy journey, smooth, effortless, and full of progress. But the truth is, growth requires pain, discomfort, and facing obstacles head on. Whether you're learning a new skill, improving your health, or building a successful career, you will encounter challenges along the way. These challenges aren't roadblocks, they're stepping stones. The discomfort of growth is something to embrace, not avoid. In fact, discomfort is often the very sign that you're moving in the right direction. It's the feeling of stretching beyond your limits, of pushing yourself in ways you never thought possible. That's the moment of transformation. The discomfort you experience today is the sign that you are changing, evolving, and becoming more than you were yesterday. Think about working out. At first, it feels hard. Your muscles ache, you feel tired, and sometimes you wonder if it's even worth it. But without that discomfort, there's no growth. Muscles grow because they are pushed beyond their usual capacity. It's the same with any kind of personal development. You must push past your comfort zone, face challenges, and experience a certain level of discomfort to reach the next level. This is something that most people overlook. They see pain and discomfort as negative experiences, something to avoid at all costs. But if you only seek comfort and avoid pain, you'll remain stuck in the same place. Growth happens when you challenge yourself, when you step out of your comfort zone and face the discomfort of change. The famous entrepreneur and author Tim Ferriss once said, "What we fear doing most is usually what we most need to do." That fear and discomfort are often signals that growth is on the other side. If you want to reach your highest potential, you must be willing to embrace discomfort as part of the process. When you embark on a 90-day challenge to transform your life, expect pain, expect resistance. There will be moments when your mind tries to convince you to quit, when your body tells you to take a break, or when doubts creep in about your ability to keep going. But it's precisely during these moments of discomfort that your growth is happening. The more you push through, the more mentally and physically stronger you become. Think about it. The man or woman who finishes the 90-day challenge isn't the same person they were when they started. They've built mental toughness, learned to handle discomfort, and become someone who refuses to quit. And all of that came from embracing the pain of growth. So, how do you embrace discomfort? First, recognize it for what it is, a sign of progress. The more uncomfortable something makes you feel, the more opportunity it holds for growth. If you're afraid of failing, failing is simply a lesson on the path to success. If the challenge feels too hard, then that's exactly the moment to push through. Second, understand that growth isn't a linear process. Some days will be harder than others. Some days you'll feel like you're not making any progress at all. That's normal. The most successful people have learned to view setbacks as part of the journey. They don't get discouraged. They keep going, because they know that their breakthrough is just on the other side of that discomfort. It's also important to remind yourself that you don't have to be perfect. Growth isn't about getting everything right all the time. It's about showing up every day, doing the work, and embracing the discomfort. You're not expected to have all the answers or be flawless. You're just expected to keep moving forward even when it's tough. To make growth easier to embrace, set realistic expectations for yourself. Recognize that growth takes time. It's not a one-time event, it's a continuous process. And as you continue to face discomfort, you will start to see the results, both internally and externally. As you push through the discomfort, take time to reflect on your progress. Celebrate the small wins, the little moments when you've conquered your fear or pushed through a difficult day. Each time you do this, you reinforce the idea that you can handle the pain of growth and that it's worth it. Embrace the pain of growth. It's the fire that refines you, the struggle that strengthens you, and the discomfort that prepares you for greater success. Number 6, eliminate all distractions. In today's world, distractions are everywhere. Social media, endless notifications, constant noise, and even well-meaning conversations can pull you away from your most important goals. But in order to make real progress in your transformation journey, you must eliminate distractions. When you're working on something meaningful, your energy and focus are your most valuable assets. Distractions, no matter how small, can easily drain those resources and prevent you from achieving your full potential. As Napoleon Hill often emphasized, success isn't about working harder, it's about working smarter. And part of working smarter is eliminating anything that stands in the way of your focus. One of the biggest distractions today is technology. Social media apps, news websites, and even messaging platforms can easily take up hours of your time. What starts as a quick check on your phone can turn into an hour-long scrolling session, leaving you with little to show for it. This is what Hill refers to when he talks about protecting your mental space. Your brain can only process so much at once, and filling it with trivial distractions leaves little room for the thoughts, actions, and strategies that will help you succeed. In his book, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, Stephen Covey talks about the importance of proactively managing your time and energy. He argues that focusing on your big rocks, the most important tasks, should always come first. Distractions are like the little pebbles that fill up the gaps. If you let the small, non-essential things take over, you'll never have time or mental space for the important things. It's critical to identify what your big rocks are and make sure you're dedicating your energy to those things first. Eliminating distractions requires self-discipline. You need to take control of your environment in order to create a space where you can be productive and focused. Start by identifying your personal distractions. Whether it's checking social media, engaging in unnecessary conversations, or simply allowing your mind to wander. Once you've identified them, set boundaries for yourself. Decide on specific times when it's okay to engage in those distractions, if at all, and commit to leaving them behind during the times when you need to focus. Another strategy for eliminating distractions is creating a dedicated workspace. If possible, designate a specific area in your home or office where you can work without interruptions. This physical boundary helps signal to your brain that this is a time for deep focus, not for checking your phone or getting sidetracked by other activities. The clearer the boundary between work time and personal time, the easier it is to stay disciplined and focused. Turn off your notifications. This is one of the simplest yet most effective ways to eliminate distractions. When your phone or computer is constantly pinging you with messages, emails, and social media updates, it's easy to lose focus and get pulled away from what really matters. Consider using apps that help you block notifications or set specific times to check your messages, rather than being constantly interrupted. Mentally, you also need to block out distractions. Hill talks about focusing so deeply on your purpose that nothing can deter you. This requires building a mental fortress. Learning how to block out distractions, even when they come from within. Negative thoughts, self-doubt, and overthinking can all distract you from your goals. Meditation and mindfulness practices are essential tools in this process. They help you clear your mind, increase your mental focus, and allow you to push aside the mental chatter that can distract you from what's truly important. It's important to understand that eliminating distractions isn't about cutting yourself off from the world. It's about protecting your time and mental energy. It's about choosing where to direct your attention. By removing distractions, you create an environment where you can focus on what matters most: your growth, your goals, and your transformation. You're not isolating yourself. You're creating space to achieve the success you've set out for. Success isn't achieved in a vacuum, and you can't expect to make big progress if you're constantly distracted by external or internal forces. Every successful person, from entrepreneurs to athletes to artists, knows the importance of focus. They create environments where distractions are minimized, and they prioritize their goals above all else. In a world filled with noise, becoming the person who can focus in silence is a rare and powerful skill. If you want to achieve your 90-day transformation, cut out the things that drain your energy, that waste your time, and that keep you from doing your best work. Eliminate the distractions, protect your focus, and channel all of your energy toward the pursuit of your goals. Habit 7, create a monk-like space. If you're serious about your transformation, you must create the right environment to support your growth. This means designing a space, both physically and mentally, that fosters focus, discipline, and clarity. It's about eliminating the clutter, the noise, and the distractions that come from both your external world and your internal mind. The idea of creating a monk-like space isn't about isolation, but about creating an environment where you can truly focus on your goals without unnecessary interruptions. A monk's space is calm, simple, and deliberate, a place where distractions are minimized and the mind can engage in deep, meaningful work. This concept is deeply rooted in the idea that our environments shape our behavior. Think about it. When your space is chaotic, cluttered, or filled with distractions, your mind tends to mirror that state. But when you create an environment that's clean, simple, and structured, your mind can do the same. It's easier to focus, easier to concentrate, and easier to stay on track. To start, take a look at your current environment. Are there things around you that pull your attention away from your work? Maybe it's an open window, a pile of laundry, or an endless array of notifications buzzing on your phone. Start by clearing your physical space. Organize your workspace. Clean up your desk and remove anything that isn't related to the task at hand. The fewer distractions you have around you, the easier it will be to focus on your goals. This doesn't mean that your space has to be devoid of personality or creativity. In fact, creating a space that inspires you is important. You want a space that feels motivating and calm, one that encourages you to work but doesn't overwhelm you with noise or clutter. Maybe it's having a few plants, an inspirational quote on the wall, or a picture that reminds you of your purpose. Your space should reflect who you want to become, not who you were yesterday. In addition to physical space, you also need to create mental space. Your mind is just like your physical environment. If it's filled with worries, doubts, or distractions, it's hard to stay focused and make progress. This is where mental clarity comes in. One of the best ways to create mental space is through mindfulness or meditation. Even just 10 to 15 minutes a day of sitting quietly, breathing deeply, and clearing your mind can help you regain focus and perspective. One powerful way to create mental space is to eliminate multitasking. When you're trying to do too many things at once, your mind gets scattered. Focus on one task at a time. When you're working, work. When you're resting, rest. It's about presence, being fully engaged in whatever you're doing without allowing yourself to be pulled in a dozen different directions at once. Simplicity is the key. The simpler your environment, the clearer your mind becomes. You don't need to be surrounded by luxury or indulgence to create the right space for transformation. In fact, the simpler and more minimalist your environment, the more focused and intentional you can become. One powerful strategy to create a monk-like space is to set boundaries with your time. Just like how you've created a boundary for your physical space, create a boundary for when you will work, when you'll rest, and when you'll engage with others. Setting clear boundaries for when you're available to others is vital. Your time is precious, and when you're working on your transformation, you must guard it fiercely. Having a monk-like space is not just about creating the perfect work environment, though. It's about making deliberate decisions in every aspect of your life that will enhance your ability to focus and grow. This means being intentional about the people you interact with, the media you consume, and the habits you practice. To quote Jim Rohn, you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. Surround yourself with people who inspire you, challenge you, and push you to grow. Remove yourself from environments that pull you back into your old habits or limit your potential. Your space, both physical and mental, needs to reflect the future you want, not the past you're leaving behind. Remember, the key to creating a monk-like space is discipline and intention. You must make conscious decisions about where and how you spend your time and energy. The more you clear away distractions, the more your mind becomes a powerful tool for success. When you create a space that fosters focus, clarity, and peace, you'll find that your progress becomes much more natural. A clear space leads to a clear mind, and a clear mind will help you unlock your full potential and transform your life. Habit 8, identity anchoring and system building. To truly transform your life, you must stop acting like the person you were yesterday and start acting like the person you're becoming. This is the power of identity anchoring. Identity anchoring is all about making decisions from the place of who you're becoming, not who you've been. It's about building a new mindset that aligns with your future vision, not your past circumstances. When you anchor your identity to your future self, you begin to live from a place of intention and purpose, rather than from reactionary patterns of behavior that no longer serve you. You need to start showing up as the person you want to become, not just the person you have been. It's easy to fall into old habits and patterns, especially when things get tough. But if you've anchored your identity to the new version of yourself, these old patterns will no longer hold as much power over you. Think of your identity as a set of beliefs, thoughts, and actions that define you. In this transformative process, you need to shift those beliefs from "I can't do this" to "I am someone who can achieve this." You begin to focus less on your limitations and more on the possibilities that lie ahead. This shift in perspective is essential for long-term growth. But identity anchoring isn't just a mindset shift. It also requires action. You need to align your daily actions with the identity you're building. For example, if you're trying to become a healthier person, you wouldn't just think, "I'm someone who is healthy." You would make daily decisions that reflect that identity, like choosing to eat healthy foods, exercising regularly, and prioritizing rest. Each time you make a choice aligned with your future identity, you strengthen that identity even further. This is where system building comes in. Systems are the habits, routines, and processes that support your goals and your new identity. A system is a set of actions you take regularly, which lead you to results, whether or not you feel motivated to do them. It's the daily grind, the everyday work that compounds over time to create transformation. When you focus on building systems rather than just setting goals, you are setting yourself up for success. Goals can be lofty and distant, but systems allow you to make continuous progress. A system is something you do every day, regardless of how you feel. It removes the reliance on motivation, which is fleeting and unpredictable, and focuses on consistency and discipline. The more consistent you are with your systems, the more natural they become, and eventually, they become part of your identity. For instance, let's say your goal is to write a book. Instead of obsessing over the final outcome, focus on the system. Your system might include writing 500 words each day, setting aside time in the morning to write, and blocking off distractions during that time. Over time, this system becomes a daily habit, and the process of writing becomes part of who you are. You are now the type of person who writes daily, and eventually, that book will be completed without you even needing to rely on fleeting motivation. Building systems also involves tracking your progress. Use a visual tracker, a calendar, or a habit app to monitor your progress. When you can see the momentum building over time, it becomes easier to stay committed. It's about reinforcing positive behaviors and ensuring they're ingrained in your daily routine. Tracking your progress also gives you an opportunity to celebrate small wins along the way, reinforcing your new identity. But building systems goes beyond just tasks and habits. It's about your overall approach to life. You should have systems in place for your health, your finances, your relationships, and your personal growth. Create systems for your mornings, your evenings, and how you spend your free time. The more you align every area of your life with your future identity, the stronger and more ingrained that identity becomes. It's also important to track your systems and adjust them as needed. Your systems should be flexible but consistent. Life will change, and so should your approach. If you feel like your system isn't serving you anymore, tweak it, refine it, and keep moving forward. The key is to never give up on the process. Finally, remember that this is a journey, not a destination. Identity anchoring and system building take time. It's about small, consistent actions that add up over the long term. Celebrate the fact that you are becoming the person you've always wanted to be, even if the changes aren't always obvious at first. Over time, your new identity will shape the way you think, the way you act, and ultimately the way you live. As you move forward, remind yourself of who you are becoming, not who you were yesterday. The systems you build today will support the identity you are stepping into tomorrow. Keep anchoring your identity to the person you are becoming and keep reinforcing it through the systems you create. Over time, this will lead to profound transformation, helping you become the best version of yourself. Habit 9, sacred morning and evening routines. Your morning and evening routines are two of the most powerful tools you have to take control of your life. They serve as the bookends to your day, setting the tone for everything that comes in between. A sacred routine, both in the morning and at night, helps anchor your mind, body, and spirit into the right frequency, making you more resilient to challenges, more focused on your goals, and more intentional with your time. The first hour of your day sets the foundation for everything that follows. Imagine waking up to chaos, rushing out the door with no clear purpose. Your mind is flooded with distractions and stress right from the start. This scattered energy will likely follow you throughout the day, leaving you feeling reactive and out of control. Now, imagine starting your day intentionally with purpose and focus. The first hour of your day is a chance to prime your mindset for success. The best way to use this hour is to engage in activities that help you align with your purpose. Whether that's reading, meditation, exercise, or planning your day, each of these activities primes your mind to handle whatever comes your way with a sense of calm and control. Reading, for example, exposes your mind to fresh ideas and inspiration, helping you grow intellectually. Meditation or mindfulness practices center your thoughts and emotions, grounding you before the world demands your attention. Exercise gets the blood flowing and releases endorphins, giving you an energy boost and a sense of accomplishment right from the start. Having a sacred morning routine is not about adding more tasks to your already busy life. It's about creating a moment of peace and intention that sets a positive tone for the rest of your day. When you take control of the first hour, you establish a mindset that is proactive, not reactive. You make the choice to take charge of your morning, rather than letting external circumstances dictate it. As important as it is to have a strong morning routine, your evening routine is just as crucial. Your evening sets the tone for how you wind down and prepare for a restful night's sleep. If your evening is filled with distractions, like scrolling through social media or watching mindless TV, you're not allowing your mind and body to properly recover. You're robbing yourself of the chance to reset for the next day. A powerful evening routine is designed to help you reflect on your day and prepare for the next one. Take time in the evening to review your day. What went well, what didn't, and what you can improve. This reflection process ensures that you're constantly learning from your experiences and refining your approach to life. This can also help you feel a sense of accomplishment as you identify the positive actions you took and the progress you made. One of the most important parts of your evening routine is disconnecting from technology. In today's world, it's easy to get caught in the trap of endless scrolling, emails, and notifications. But this constant stimulation can keep your brain in high gear, making it harder to fall asleep and recharge for the next day. Instead, create a no stimulation zone for the last hour of your day. Avoid screens and instead focus on quiet activities like reading a book, journaling, or spending time with loved ones. Just like your morning routine, your evening routine helps recalibrate your energy and mindset. By ending your day with intention, You ensure that your subconscious mind is prepped for success the following day. It also helps you disengage from the stressors of the day, allowing your mind and body to relax fully and prepare for restorative sleep. Think of both routines as the pillars of your daily life. Together, they help you create a flow of energy that moves from one moment to the next without interruption or distraction. They are the secret to consistently showing up as your best self every day. Your morning routine allows you to step into the day with purpose, and your evening routine ensures that you leave behind any stress or negative energy so you can rest, recharge, and prepare for another successful day. Having these sacred routines also keeps you accountable. It's easy to let the day slip by without ever taking a moment to prioritize yourself, but when you commit to a morning and evening routine, you're saying to yourself, I am important and my time matters. You're intentionally choosing to show up for yourself, to make your well-being a priority, and to create a foundation of stability and balance in your life. Lastly, remember that these routines don't need to be perfect. What matters is consistency, not perfection. Your morning or evening routine can change depending on your needs, the season of your life, or even how you're feeling that day. The goal is to create a routine that fits your life and serves your needs. Habit 10, expect resistance. Push through. Transformation isn't a smooth journey. It's easy to imagine change as something that just happens when you commit to it, but the reality is much different. Resistance is inevitable. It shows up in the form of self-doubt, procrastination, distractions, and moments of weakness. Your old self will fight back, trying to keep you stuck in your comfort zone. You might hear voices in your head saying, take a break, you're doing too much, or this isn't worth it. These are the voices of your past identity, the person you used to be, not the person you're becoming. In the face of this resistance, most people quit. They decide it's easier to give up than to push through the discomfort. But resistance is not the enemy, it's a sign of growth. In fact, resistance is often an indicator that you're on the right track. When you encounter resistance, it means you're pushing boundaries, stepping outside of your comfort zone, and beginning to reshape your identity. You need to develop a mindset that views resistance as a green light, not a red light. Instead of seeing resistance as something that should stop you, see it as a signal that you are on the verge of a breakthrough. Every time you push through resistance, you are rewiring your brain and reinforcing your new identity. You are creating new neural pathways that align with the person you want to become. The key to overcoming resistance is understanding that it's a natural part of the process. It's not something to fear, but something to expect. The people who succeed are not the ones who never experience resistance. They're the ones who understand that resistance is a part of the growth process and push forward regardless. They've learned that quitting when things get tough only strengthens the hold of their old identity, while pushing through resistance rewires their mindset for success. Every time you meet resistance and decide to keep going, you prove to yourself that you are more powerful than your old habits. This is where the transformation happens. It's not in the easy moments when everything flows smoothly. It's in the moments of struggle when you decide to continue despite the discomfort, despite the voices telling you to quit. Those are the moments that shape your new identity. It's crucial to stop negotiating with weakness. The moment you give in to that inner resistance, you create a pattern of behavior that reinforces the old, weaker version of yourself. The true test of your character comes when you decide to keep moving forward, no matter what. This mindset is what separates those who achieve lasting transformation from those who give up halfway through. To put it simply, your transformation begins the moment you stop negotiating with your own weaknesses. Every time you face a challenge and decide not to quit, you build momentum, you build discipline, and most importantly, you build a new identity. It's these moments that define who you become. The only way to outgrow your old self is to show up every day, especially when it's hard, and keep pushing forward. Just remember, resistance doesn't mean failure. It's a sign that you're on the right path. The next time you encounter resistance, embrace it. Recognize that it's part of the process. When you push through, you'll not only transform your habits, but also redefine who you are. In the end, it's the ones who push through the most resistance who come out on the other side as the person they've always wanted to be. Now, as we come to the end of this video, it's time for you to take action. Change starts now. Drop a comment below and let us know that you're ready to change your life, no matter how tough the journey may be. I'll be reading each one of your comments, and I'll feature the most inspiring one on our channel. If you're ready for a daily dose of unfiltered motivation, make sure to subscribe to our channel. Let's keep pushing forward together.